topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning. Good afternoon. Dallas-Fort Worth, welcome to another Ask the Experts. This is our 16th year. You're going to have to excuse me today. I have got the worst cold, and if my expert was a little bit closer to Florida, I would be going to his office right away. Before we get started, I want to congratulate our expert. David is a new father, so I want to give him all of our blessings and everything. And I got to say this, today a shooting happened in Minneapolis. Rebel, you might not know this because you've been so busy, but 2 children were murdered. And I just want to send out prayers to the families and the children who were also involved. There was like 11 kids who were wounded, but I want to give them our prayers. But let's welcome David Morcom. Hi, David.
Hello. Hi. Thank you so much for having me. And prayers go to the family and friends and their loved ones. It's so sad. And you have a new baby, 2 months old.
Yes.
Harmony Camellia, and can only imagine, just raising a child and having something so horrific happen. So it's horrible.
So are you getting any sleep?
Yeah. I mean, I would say I gotta give it props up to the mothers of the world, because they really take the brunt of it in the first few months, of course. But I think our job as fathers often is to support the mom in those first couple months. So I'm trying my very best for that.
David, I got to tell you, and I've told you this before, you do holistic medicine. And I got to tell you, I am the biggest fan of holistic medicine. Where you have come through the years is amazing. And this is going to sound strange. I think some doctors, some MDs should be embarrassed. But what you have accomplished is amazing. First of all, tell people about your practice.
Yeah, Dr. David Morcom. I'm a functional medicine doctor, and we're centered out of here, Dallas, Texas. The name is Integrative Wellness FX. We have many MDs, doctors, NPs, health coaches to drill support people with all types of complex chronic disease, from neurological issues, autoimmune issues, brain injuries, gut issues, toxicity. And we're addressing the true root cause of disease. So just because it's natural doesn't mean it's fixing the problem. There's deeper things going on often. We just want to isolate what those things for each person, so we can actually get people feeling better and stabilize and stay well long term. And we are telemedicine. So Steve-O, when you are sick and things, I can't get it to you immediately, but I can get it to you the next day if you really need it.
Oh, gosh, I think I need a Z-Pack, but from you, it'd probably be, I bet you vitamin C is the best for what I've got. David, I got to ask you, so, everybody is talking about functional medicine now, but not a lot of people know what functional medicine is. Share with people what functional medicine is.
Yeah, it's a type of modern description for a holistic medicine system that uses natural medicine, but also uses the best of all advanced diagnostics and technologies, liposomal nanoparticles, peptide therapy, exosomes, regenerative medicine. And we do it in a way, in a framework that's actually addressing root cause, recognizing that I can give you all these different herbs and supplements to knock down the fire, to build up your energy and manipulate the neurotransmitters. That's great. That's the field of integrative medicine, using herbalism to get people feeling better. Yes, they have less side effects than drugs potentially, but at the same time, it doesn't mean it's fixing the problem. And functional medicine readily recognizes that there are root systems of the body that are actually having issues and they're dysfunctional, like the gut, where there's toxicity, there's chronic infections, there's nutrient deficiencies, there's genetic dysfunctions that are contributing and rotting the whole tree. So all the leaves are brown, all the branches are weak. But when we identify what those are, we cut off these rotting roots and we fertilize from the ground up. All these systems fall back into place and people can have long lasting health and resilience to the world around them. And I really want to focus on this because so many people in this day and age are so focused on so many things they need to do for their health, taking all these supplements, being on extreme diets,
Yes.
meditating every day just to feel well. And I just want people to know that vitality is their birthright and you should wake up every day with lots of energy. And doesn't mean there's not going to be hard work to get there, but it usually doesn't take that long. People work with me for 3 to 4 months and they're a big part of the journey there already as we just reset these base systems of the body.
Hey, David, share with everybody. You've got an incredible personal story that actually shaped your approach to this type of healing.
Yeah. Well, I went through my training very much in the allopathic system. And during that time, even while I was at school, I was the president of many integrative societies. And I was always passionate about this kind of work. It always just made sense to me. But at the same time, I got a blessing from the universe. I wanted to be the best healer and helper I could. And it blessed me with some brain injuries. I got hit by a car, and then I had another brain injury a year later on a bicycle. And, it really has taken me down a path of very complex issues because when your brain's not working, all the systems underneath it start to fall out of place. So initially, I might have used drugs for a short period of time to try to understand and try to fix things because that is what I was studying. But I just knew right away that that wasn't the route and there was a lot of side effects and it just wasn't helping and fixing the problem. And I found more herbalism at that time and using these supplements and nutraceuticals to be able to support myself. And it did help. It took the edge and lowered some of the inflammation, helped me actually be able to sleep and started to build my energy back up. But I was never able to really stabilize. There was something deeper going on. And so I had to continue to dive deeper. That's when I found functional medicine and really was able to understand that there are deeper issues going on in the gut and toxicity. I ended up living in a moldy home, for example. I ended up eventually getting Lyme disease. So some of these are some of the most serious things we deal with in complex chronic disease and underlying a lot of the conditions that we treat. And I had them all three of them at the same time. And so it took me a little while to figure out how it's all connected and figure out the pieces, but it's really given me a lot of compassion for people's journeys and to be able to understand that there is a lot of things that we can do for our health. And every person thinks that what they do is good for the thing that's going to help and solve that person's issue. And I don't really have that mentality. I feel like there's just a lot of tools and technologies and things that need to be in place to fully address things in a more holistic way. And that array of things that you want to combine for your health journey is going to be different. And having someone like myself or my team to guide you is very important. And we do want to look at the intricate connection between the mental, emotional, and the spiritual, but also the mental, the emotional, but also the physiological. And so really with brain injuries, you're really forced to look at some of those things because when the nervous system's not working, it causes a lot of issues.
David, do you ever have a patient who comes in for the first time and says, I know there's something wrong. There's something going on in my system. My doctor, my internist said that he sees nothing. How many times do you see patients like that?
It's really common. I mean, in my practice, a big majority of patients have been to many other doctors and even many integrative medicine doctors by the time they get
Oh,
to us. And again, it's just because it's natural medicine doesn't mean that they know how to do the deeper work. And so really finding people that are very well qualified, that have the certifications, that can guide you back into health is very important. But a lot of the lab work that they're even doing in the allopathic system is very superficial. It's very basic. And we do regular blood work, but even our regular blood work is much more comprehensive and detailed. But we're looking at empirical data and advanced functional medicine diagnostics that look much deeper at what's actually causing these superficial lab markers to be off in the first place. And so, we're looking at, in our basic labs, all the nutrients, minerals, and vitamins. So we know exactly what's missing. We're not guessing. We're looking at gut measures, how much fungus and bacterial overgrowth and malabsorptions in the system. We're looking at mitochondrial energy production, metabolism itself. We're looking at toxicity and metals, different genetic markers. So that's our baseline test. One test that looks at all those things: blood, urine, saliva. We combine that with regular blood work and other things that are specified to their symptoms. It's not a guessing game. We're able to come back by that second appointment a month later and be able to know exactly what's going on and just start addressing it.
hey, speaking of guessing games, doesn't it bother you when someone walks into, say, a GNC and says, I've got this problem. Can you give me something for it? Because they're like skipping so many different ways that you do that you can find out because maybe it's something else.
Yeah, very much. And I think it's great that people are into natural medicine and is more in the collective awareness that there's a natural way to approach disease. But I think we're still in the learnings of understanding that there's deeper things going on. And again, all these things can be helpful, but nutrients are just nutrients. And really, I think a big thing that I see is there's things in the body that are causing all this inflammation, that are draining all the systems in the first place. So you keep on adding in gas to a leaky tank, it's just going to keep on falling out regardless of what you do. You might feel good for a short period of time and you might fall out of place again. So by doing this deeper work, and a lot of times there is gut issues, dysbiosis, leaky guts, intestinal permeability, big part. But I think even more than anything else, the amount of toxicity of our world is a big part that's causing all this inflammation, that's poisoning the mitochondrial metabolism, that's damaging the gut, that's causing the neurological and inflamed brain symptoms. So really, almost every person that I treat now, we want to do some detox. We want to get these chemicals out. And it's hard to have stability when we have all these chemicals floating through the system, draining it constantly.
What kind of health issues or chronic conditions do you see most in your practice?
Yeah, I mean, we deal with everything, honestly, just because the system is an intricate, complex system. And as a functional medicine doctor, you do need to know a lot about everything and how it's all interconnected. And I think a lot of the people that come in, they're having fatigue and they're having rashes and headaches, and their immune systems are weak, neurological depression, anxiety, pain disorders. Actually, they know that they have gut issues and they know that that's important. They're coming in for that. Very few people know that they have toxicities. Some people that are a little bit more aware and done research are coming in now knowing that they've been exposed to mold or they had silver fillings, for example. But a lot of people, that's hidden. And until explaining really how all their symptoms on the surface are actually connected into these deeper issues, then we can actually start working on it. But I deal with a lot of autoimmune issues, and it's just the bucket is full. There's things that are causing so much inflammation that the immune system starts to freak out. There's just PTSD of the immune system. And so big part of chronic disease today is that our immune system gets sensitized to our own tissues. Depending where it's attacking as the different symptoms or the different diagnosis of the type of autoimmunity you have. But the reality of the treatment is still going to be the same. You look at what is in your bucket that's creating inflammation, and we need to fix those things. And as we empty the bucket, inflammation falls throughout the body, the immune system stabilizes and feels safe again. It can actually stop attacking itself.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to be totally honest. You say that your clinic is different, and you and I discuss many ways that your clinic's different. What sets your practice apart from other doctors and wellness centers?
Yeah. I mean, it's just this really belief in the body that it can heal fully and that you don't need to be on a bunch of supplements and extreme things just to feel good, and that there's deeper work to be done to fix the problem. And having the clinical experience and the training and the know-how to actually do that deeper work, and not being okay with putting people on a bunch of hormones just to get them feeling better. And we do bioidentical hormones that are atom for atom, exactly what's in your body. And we use the best quality nanoparticles and peptides and technologies to get you there. But at the same time, we just got to go deeper. We got to actually fix the problem. I don't think all clinics are equipped to actually do that. Some of my patients are coming in are very sick. They have a lot of symptoms and they've gone to many doctors, and sometimes they're on the perfect diet. They're meditating every day. They're taking all these supplements. Sometimes they can't even eat healthy foods anymore. Sometimes they can't even take supplements because they're getting reactions and histamine responses, especially in this post-COVID world. The immune systems are just haywire at this point. And so knowing that to do the technical work of how to move through these difficult patients to get them to a place to be able to do the normal things that would normally help them. So yeah, we just do a little deeper work here.
We just got our first text from Ron in McKinney. He wants to know, do you work with cancer patients?
Yeah, again, we work with everything. And I would say with cancer specifically, I do believe in having an integrative team to be able to support you through the process. And I think that for every person, it's going to be a different decision of whether they want to do chemo or radiation and still use integrative medicine to maybe just neutralize some of the side effects that are very common with that, to keep your energy up so you don't get drained through the process, for example. That's a level one kind of integration and ways to be able to support yourself. And then some people might realize that maybe doing any of these medications, if it's earlier on in the prognosis, might actually just cause more damage and inflammation. And you can just use natural substances to be able to treat it as well. And more importantly, address the root cause that is causing all the oxidative stress and damage and estrogen dominance that is leading to the development of cancer in the first place. And so, for example, we have labs that are able to really diagnose without doing a, actually biopsy, which can cause more problems and issues. And we can do testing to see exactly what chemotherapeutic agents and what medicines, natural medicines and supplements that are actually going to work for your particular type of cancer. And so through some of this, we can be much more individualized even about what your body needs to be able to fight it. But again, it's not a battle between, we need to kill this thing. It's really, why is your body weak in the first place? What has drained your immune system so much that you either have autoimmunity, you have cancer, and how can we get rid of those things that are causing that damage and draining the system? And how can we stabilize and strengthen the system so it can overcome that cancer?
Carol in Plano says, I love your show. I just found it for the first time. I can't believe I did not know about this. I'm mesmerized. The things you talk about, a lot of times they're caused by stress. How do you treat stress?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'll say there is mental, emotional stress, of course. A lot of times people were focusing on that. And so that's one side of things we can talk about. But there's also physiological stress, because both of these things are creating lots of inflammation or stress and cortisol in the system. And then cortisol is that fight or flight hormone that gets you going to survive that, run away from that tiger and get on with your day. But you can only do it for so long before your systems and battery packs are drained, your hormones, your immune system, all that gets drained over time, being this high cortisol state. And so then we have hormone issues, and then we get chronic infections, and then it goes onward and onward. So it is important to understand that sometimes people are constantly in this fight or flight, and maybe they've had trauma in their background. Maybe they have a very stressful life. And those are pieces, and we got to focus on that. But also there is metabolic components. Like a lot of the people I treat that they're in PTSD and they're doing all the mental emotional work, they're doing therapy and somatic work and ketamine sessions. They have a bunch of metals and mercury in their system. They're exposed to mold, or they have other sources of inflammation that are keeping them in that fight or flight state. So we do want to look at the physiological, but as far as stress goes as well, you should be able to handle a certain amount of stress and have that resilience. And a lot of times our battery packs are just low. So we support the adrenals and the hormone HPA axis, of course, with these adaptogenic herbs, these adaptogens like ashwagandha, like the ginsengs and the rhodiolas and the maca roots of our world are the tonic adaptogenic prized herbs of various traditional medicine systems around the world that strengthen the body and build and restore systems rather than just drain them. And so caffeine can give you energy real quick, but then when you don't have it, you crash, and then you're actually lower over time because you're draining from your metabolic reserve, where these will help you build your system over time. But also if you're really stressed and anxious, it brings you to be more grounded and relaxed as well. We can use GABA agonists, things that act on the GABA inhibitory neurotransmitter of the brain, things like CBD, anxiolytic herbs like passion flower and skullcap, magnolia, hinokiol, L-theanine. These are things we can deliver in a liposomal nanoparticle form, so they go directly into the brain to have their effects very quickly. But then we also want to see, why is our brain inflamed in the first place? Because our brain can be inflamed and it's firing too fast. We have so many thoughts because our brain is firing too quickly. And if we can address the cause of that inflammatory storm, then we can have just one thought at a time to be more present and be more in the parasympathetic nervous system. But other than herbs, I'm very passionate about technologies. One technology that we use and we also sell at our integrative wellness Shopify page is a vagal nerve stimulator. And this vagal nerve stimulator here, something you put right here, it's got some electrodes that activate the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is the nerve bundle that comes down from the brain and goes throughout the rest of the body. And it helps you to ground your nervous system to be more stress resilient. FDA approved for depression and anxiety. It's used in PTSD and people that are upregulated like this. But it also is going to help your gut function, ability to break down foods and move your gut and your heart and many other areas, because this vagus nerve, the wandering nerve, goes to all different areas of your organs and bodies. So this is something you do 4 minutes twice per day. And so it's nice to, have a one-time purchase, and so affordable. It's like so cheap compared to what it used to be these days. And you have it for the rest of your life. And you do 4 minutes twice per day. That can really keep things much more grounded as well. So,
David, your show goes by so fast. Tell people how they can reach you.
Yeah, Dr. David Morcom, integrativewellnessfx.com. We are a telemedicine practice. We're happy to help you with your complex chronic issues. And just get a hold of us at 469-333-1298, or check us out on our website. Check us out on Instagram. Check out on some of our materials. We're happy to help. It's a pleasure.
And you're going to be doing 2 shows next month, so we're really going to be in for a treat. Thank you, David, so much. Have a wonderful holiday. Enjoy that baby.
Thank you so much. All the best. Take care, Steve-O.
Thanks, David. We're going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.